Hello, I've got a couple Japanese pocket knives here. Now I'm probably going to mispronounce the name, but I believe it's pronounced Nagao Higonokami or something like that. I don't speak Japanese, so my pronunciation of these knives isn't going to be too great. Anyway, let's have a look at the knives. Now these are both friction folders and they're pretty similar to each other, which is why I've got them both here, and I've only got two knives by this maker anyway, so I figured I'm just as well to make them in the same, put them in the same video since they are so similar. And the price on both of these knives are exactly the same, so on that note, may as well talk about the price. On Heine Haynes, these are both £15.95 each, and I know that because I just checked. I bought these knives, I want to say 3 years ago, and I've not used them simply because I've not found a use for them. There's other knives that I rather carry over these. Not saying these are bad knives, not trying to discredit them in any way, shape or form. These are brilliant knives, especially for the price. Just I personally haven't found a use for them. I'd rather just keep them on a shelf. Anyway, let's have a look at the knives. Now, since you can already see it, let's just have a look at this. Now these are obviously Japanese characters, and I'm not going to even begin to assume what that says because I don't speak or read Japanese. So if anyone does know what any of this means, feel free to let me know. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Here we are. And again on the smaller one. Now this one here is, I think it's stainless steel, and this other one is brass. I can only assume that brass costs more than steel. I'm not too knowledgeable on the price of metals. The brass one I think is a little bit thicker. Yeah, maybe. It's kind of funny because this little one feels a little more sturdy. Anyway, let's have a look at the steel one first. So this one does have a lanyard loop. In fact, this is actually made from, the handle is made from one, piece of steel which has just been folded over. These knives couldn't be any more basic if they tried. I mean, you've literally got a piece of steel that's folded over with a blade that's just riveted onto it, and that's it. I think this is, being a friction folder, I think these are known as peasant knives or farmer knives or whatever. These are just really basic utility knives. I've heard that these are used as utility knives in Japan, but I can not confirm nor deny that. I honestly don't know. I suppose these would certainly lend themselves to utility tasks. I mean, being a sort of small, pocketable, reasonably strong knife. We'll get on to the uses later on. I'm not really sure what this cutout is for, if it serves any functionality at all. Maybe it helps you sort of grip the knife a bit better. I mean, my finger does sort of fall in there, so it does sort of lock your hand into it. I'm not really sure if that's its intentions. As I said, it is a friction folder, so it's literally held open by friction, and it doesn't want to close. But of course, you're supposed to put your finger, your thumb on this tang here to prevent it from closing. Now, again, this is not a heavy use knife. I mean, you really don't want to go stabbing this into things. I mean, unless you want to lose your finger, I wouldn't go doing that. Now, it does have a reasonable belly on it, so it would lend itself to slicing. I'm not even going to try and tell you what kind of grind that is, because I honestly don't know. I mean, it looks kind of like a Scandi grind to me personally, but being made in Japan, I doubt it's a Scandi grind. So if you know what grind this is, please feel free to let me know. However, it sharpens just like a Scandi grind. It is really easy to sharpen. I mean, I've got this, not razor sharp, but it's reasonably sharp. I mean, it comes reasonably sharp out of the box, which is good. But these knives are actually very easy to sharpen. And if you're willing to put the time and effort into it, you can get this blade to a very high mirror polish pretty easily. I've never really found the time for it, so I've not really done it yet. I mean, I have tried it a few times, but I kind of rushed it. I mean, you can kind of see there is a somewhat of a mirror polish on that blade. But anyway, and we have characters here on the blade as well. I forgot to mention that. Similarly, here we have the brass one. similar deal. This is basically just a smaller version of the steel one. They're very similar, except of course this one's brass, this one's steel, and this one doesn't have the little, the cutout. This one might be good for keychain carry, however, being a friction folder, it just sort of, it'll open on you, so I'm not willing to put this on my keys in case this opens. I was also thinking this would make a good little pendant, for neck carry, or put it on a necklace, but again, because this opens, I wouldn't be too trusting of that, unless you can somehow find a way to keep it closed. This one does not have characters on the blade. Of course, these are made in Japan, being Japanese knives. I don't think I've really tried to sharpen this one, but it is also very fairly sharp. So, what would be a good use for these knives? Well, I know what they wouldn't be used for, and these would be not really that great for bushcraft. I know that much. I really can't see this being good for bushcraft nor camping. Cutting fruit, maybe. I think the blades might be a bit thick for that. When it comes to cutting apples and such, you probably want a bit of a thinner blade. This one might be a bit too thick. I think I had used this to cut an apple once, and I'm pretty sure it got rusted really quickly just by cutting one apple, so I'm guessing it's a fairly high carbon steel. Unless of course you want your blade all patinaed, which I personally do not. Not on these anyway. Opening the mail, yeah, sure. Just everyday little tasks is what these knives lend themselves to. I mean, because they're so small and compact, easy to carry in the pocket without giving you much bother, especially something like this. I mean, this is just going to slip down into your watch pocket of your jeans pretty easily. You're never going to know it's there. Other than that, I don't really know what uses you could have for knives like these. Now, in my view, this is a must for a collection. Being Japanese knives, I think every collection should have what I want to do actually is I want to have knives from all over the world in my collection, which is part of the reason I have these. I think so far I've got knives from, I want to say, over 10 different countries thus far. So to me that's a good addition. And again, for less than 16 quid, why not? What have you got to lose? Of course, being so cheap, you're not going to worry too much if you lose them. And they're reasonably friendly to carry. Now that's one thing I forgot to mention. Being that these are friction folders and the cutting edge on these blades is less than 3 inches, these are legal to carry in the UK, and they will be legal to carry in most other European countries also. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching.